without vetting, they can't get benefits.
Yes,
You know that.
which is why it's a problem
Good.
with the government, right?
Exactly. Not the immigration.
Yes, but right.
Sorry, not the immigrants.
Yeah. But when people are still coming over, regardless of who put them there, there are a lot of people. So, for instance, I use the example: if someone comes from France, a very westernised country, is more likely to come here, assimilate, and just live their lives as any other British person would, right? If you get someone from Afghanistan, assimilation is going to be less likely, and we're seeing it, right?
So you're saying unless they assimilate, they are not welcome here. Is that what you're saying?
I think, yeah, I think you should
What does assimilation mean in your worldview? What does it mean?
accepting Western culture.
What does that mean?
Our laws here.
Okay, so now it became Western culture from Christian culture. Have you moved the goalpost? You have. Because earlier it was Christian culture. Now you're saying Western culture.
Western Judeo-Christian country.
They're not the same. They're not the same. The Christian culture.
This country is. It doesn't matter if they're the same.
No, hold on.
This country is.
This country is becoming less Christian.
Why is it becoming less Christian?
Allow me to finish.
Becoming less Christian? Because we have open borders.
You're getting aggressive for no reason. Let's calm down. The reason it's becoming less Christian is because most people are tired of what they preach at the churches. Okay?
Churches are woke. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, so
I'll agree with you there. We have too many people in church saying that men can get married in the eyes of God. I have nothing against gay people. I have nothing against gay people being together. I have nothing against transgenderism. But the church's job is to preach the Bible. Deviation from the Bible is not acceptable.
No,
so
a lot of
you as well that the church is not woke, and that is why people
a lot of Western culture is at clash with the Christian culture. Do you agree?
Sorry, say
A
again.
lot of the Western culture is actually at loggerheads with the actual Christian culture.
In what way?
For example, LGBTQ. Does Christian culture allow it?
By the way, you know,
I'm not talking to you. Stop interrupting.
latest rankings
Okay.
for the trans
So
rights
this
in
is what
the
I'm
UK.
saying. There are a lot of things which actually collide, and this is where many of the young people are disillusioned because they don't know. Young people like you, you don't know. Are you for or against LGBTQ? Against. But that is against the Western culture.
Yes, but it's not. Yeah, but people can go and do what they want. I'm all for people doing what they want as long as they're not hurting anyone.
Thank you very much.
When it comes to indoctrinating people in schools, the thing is LGBT, right? How many gay people are coming out now and saying, I'm not part of the LGBT, because it's become what it wasn't before, right? It's become an ideology, it's become an indoctrination, and now we're having trans kids
Exactly.
and all these things, and they're mutilating themselves, they're taking hormone blockers, all these things. That's where it becomes a problem. You can do
So
whatever you want.
you answered my question for me. You know why? Because earlier you mentioned assimilation, and you said they can do what they like as long as they're not forcing anyone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll tell you why. Wait.
They have English heritage. They have an inherent.
Hold on. Not every LGBTQ is born in this country.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you're against
No, you
LGBT.
conflated.
If you let me finish one sentence without interrupting, then we'll get somewhere. Okay. So the reason I mentioned LGBTQ is because the Western culture allows it. Okay. The Christian culture does not allow it, and the Christian culture, you are for the Christian culture. That's the reason you said you're against the LGBTQ. But
No. I'm against the LGBTQ because it's become an indoctrination ideology. LGBT used to be lesbians, gays, and bisexuals, right? Like I just said, how many gay people are coming out and saying, I do not want to be included in the LGBTQIA++, whatever the hell it is, right?
no, just because they leave the ideology, there are many who come in as well. So there are many people who are Christians and they want to be LGBTQ. They want to assimilate in the Western culture. So unlike you, they actually are not against the Western culture. They are not. Even though they might be Christian, they still don't mind being with that ideology of LGBTQ, even though it goes against the Christian culture.
But in the Western culture, these people have the right to go and do that as long as they're not hurting anyone,
Yes.
not harming children, and indoctrination is harming children.
Good. So where is the problem when immigrants come here and they say we want to speak our language or dress the way they want without harming anyone? Do you have a problem with that? No. At that time you say you want them to assimilate.
I have no problem with someone who wants to come to this country, assimilate and contribute, right? But someone who
What does assimilate mean?
just be accepting of Western culture.
Okay,
That
so
is it.
but you're not accepting of Western culture. You're against LGBTQ.
By the way,
Yes, you are.
I've said about
this
three
guy,
times
man.
now, anyone can do whatever the
guy,
hell they like, right? As long as they're not hurting anyone. That is Western. They have the freedom to do that.
So
right?
then your
But
meaning of assimilation is a bit off. I really want to know what you mean by assimilation. When you say,
I can't explain it anymore to you.
when you say they can do whatever they want, that's exactly what the immigrants are saying. They can do whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anyone. So that's it. Okay? I don't want to talk to you. I'll talk to her. Okay? So this is what I'm saying.
Okay, I don't want to talk to you.
That's fine. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. Because this is exactly what he wants, to stop the discussion.
No, quite frankly, I've tried to explain myself time and time again.
I was trying to show you the clash between the Christian culture and the Western culture. I was trying to show you that.
But yes,
What you
and
said,
there is a clash because otherwise this country would be ultra traditionalist, right?
Yes.
And it's not. There is.
so you enjoy the variety, right?
But that's the thing. It's a
The immigrants bring the variety. Do you realize that?
No.
Yes, they do. Why do they not? Look at,
What kind of variety do you mean?
London celebrates multiculturalism.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Not particularly.
Exactly. Once again, you
No,
keep proving
because-
that to me,
no,
time and time again.
No, because Western culture, right? When I'm talking about Western culture, I'm referring to that as one culture.
It's not one culture.
No, I'm referring to right. Oh, okay.
Western
Right, yeah.
culture is not one culture.
Not understanding what I mean.
Most people in this country, they enjoy the variety of multiculturalism, unlike you,
Right.
right? So you're among the minority, not the majority.
Okay.
And that, if that is news for you, then you need to understand that what you have been preaching and advocating all this time about assimilation,
Preaching. I was having a one-to-one conversation.
assimilation,
with a friend,
all that thing you're talking about,
Yeah.
it goes against the Western culture as well.
So do you think that someone who's coming into this country, let's say someone's coming from Syria or Afghanistan, do you think that they should assimilate at all?
Well, like I said, if your meaning of assimilation is to become Western, that
Okay,
means
so
I really,
right, recognizing law,
yeah,
right?
Of course,
Right.
if they don't recognize the law, then they should be punished according to the law. I'm all for that.
Okay.
And that has got nothing to do with assimilation. That's to do with
Right,
obeying the law. So
speaking English.
if they were in Afghanistan, they will have to obey the law there. If they were in England, they'll have to obey the law over here.
Yeah.
So just because a Westerner goes to Dubai, do you think they assimilate? No, they don't. They go about doing the daily chore or their job or whatever it is. They speak English still. Nobody's forcing them to speak Arabic over there. There are lots of Westerners who would go there for the tax-free haven that it is. And they get a lot of money, they earn a lot of money. They are more than happy to take their children there because a lot of safety is there. Imagine this, there's safety on the roads, tax-free, and they get paid a lot. Plus, some of the companies, they pay for the education, free healthcare. Yes, all of this. Why do you think they are not there saying, the local people are saying, let these people assimilate, otherwise get rid of them? No, because they are accommodating. As long as they obey the law, they have no issues. Why can't you do the same?
Because they're accommodating. I'm sorry, but with the high rate of migration, what we're seeing is people walking around London with machetes out. And I'm sorry, but
Tell that to the government.
that's not assimilation.
No, machetes is not something anyone agrees with. In fact, I can guarantee you this. Those children who are there with, I call them children because recently I think a 15-year-old killed some 14-year-old or something, yes? These are children, they shouldn't be having those machetes. They shouldn't be having those, hunting knives.
Yeah.
You know where they get them from? Online, eBay. It's openly, it's so easy to get it.
Yeah.
So you see, this is the
But again,
this is the
if
job
you
of the
remem-
government
yes,
to
but
stop
if
them.
you remember when you said a similar point earlier,
Yeah.
I said that my issue isn't just with the migrants that are coming over, it's
Thank
the
you.
government that are putting them there. And I said that, and you just blew right past
No, I didn't.
it.
I didn't.
You did.
I said
you did.
you
Otherwise,
kept.
you wouldn't have said what you
No,
just said.
I did say that this is a problem of the government. If you watch the videos, it's been recorded. I did say earlier as well that the blame also has to go on the government who allows all these things. For
Yeah, and
example,
you'll see me say that as
I'll
well,
tell
so
you.
we agree.
I'll tell you what. Look, in Islam, there are certain things which are forbidden, which are haram, prohibited. Okay, gambling, alcohol, adultery, fornication. Which one are you for or against?
None of them.
None of them, right? You know that is Islamic culture and the Christian and.
I'm not a drinker, Will. Come on, you're a drinker. I'm not.
Oh, he's a drinker? Okay, that's good you're not a drinker. But you see, do you know why all of these are allowed here? Why it is? Yes. And do you know the harms because of that?
Yeah. No,
Much more than any immigration has done to this day.
I will agree with you that
Yeah.
there are bad points to Western culture because otherwise, we wouldn't be.
By the way, these are not just bad points. These are the points which impact every part of the society. And I'm talking about not just the individual who gambles or drinks or fornicates or commits adultery, but him, his family, his maybe his neighbors, his entire society. It impacts the NHS. Yes, because every Saturday night, you probably might have seen this in Leicester Square or other places where there's nightlife, clubs and stuff like that. There are people very educated, but on that night, on Saturday night, they're puking on the roads. Many of them actually commit a lot of things which are actually a crime. Yes, crime against women because they might spike their drink or something. You see, a lot of things happen every Saturday night and every Friday night because of these things. Does the government do anything about it? No. They let billions of dollars from the NHS just go to waste because of this culture which you're talking about. This culture is something which allows them to do this, these crimes.
And that's wrong. At no point have I ever stood here and advocated that the government is doing a fabulous job.
Yeah, but I didn't say you. I didn't say you did that. So, what I'm saying is that if the government was sensible, then they would have actually put restrictions to this. Yes.
Yes.
But the reason they don't, you know why?
We need to have strong.
Do you know why they don't do it? Because they get money from it. It's a huge source of revenue. Alcohol is like a $1 billion industry. Cigarettes, $1 billion industry. But they know all of this harms the body. Yes, they do know. Same thing with adultery. It destroys families, destroys the individual. Gambling, you know, it destroys again the individual, the family, his friends, all of these things. You heard of Peter Shilton? Peter Shilton used to be a goalkeeper for England. Well, very famous. He used to take part in the World Cup and so on. Yes, he became a huge gambler. Yes, this guy was very respectful. He lost all of that. He lost his dignity, his family, his friends, all of them one by one because of the addiction to gambling. You know what? Islam nips all of this in the bud, and he says it's haram. A lot of. But hold on. He mentioned rights. Do you agree with him?
Yes.
You agree with him? So everyone should have the right to drink, to fornicate, to commit adultery, to gamble.
It's not something that should be justified in a court of law.
And in Matthew chapter 16, verse 18.
Sorry guys, I need my camera to film normal conversation. I'll be back online inshallah later. Assalamu alaikum. I don't have a backup phone, so I need to film normal discussion. I need to stop the live. Jazakallah khair for joining. Inshallah, see you guys soon.